We live? Hello! I just stuck my hand in bird poo. So, thank you guys for joining us right around your lunchtime to start with a little bit of bird poo today. We are visiting our fun little Colorado babies here right now, who are no longer babies, heartbreaking as that is for us. They are all grown up and enjoying their life here at Sanctuary, and they actually just had lunch, so they're all still in a little bit of a frenzied state at the moment as they enjoy cleaning up all of the crumbs left over from their lunches. Samira, do you want to join me in a second? She's a little busy. We'll scoop them up to say hello in a minute. So we're going to be talking all about bird brains today. We are kind of doing a little bit of a follow-up on Lauren's frequently asked questions video from last week. So,
are we actually going to get through more than 2 questions?
We're not going to take questions this time. So, in the theme of our frequently asked questions, although we are going to have to do a follow-up video where we answer even more of our frequently asked questions for you all, in the theme of things that come up quite a lot here at Sanctuary, I thought I would address some of the most common stories or stereotypes that we are faced with when folks visit and meet our chickens for the very first time. Because I gotta say, they're not people's favorite residents here at the Sanctuary, even though I think they're pretty darn great. We may get a different type of bird brain about to photo bomb us or video bomb us right at the moment. Are you coming over, Imogen? Do you want to cuddle? Do you want to be the star of the show? You do. I know, we've got this in between us, but I'll scooch closer. Hi, Angel. Imogen just likes to be the star of the chicken video streams. Because you're an angel of a turkey, aren't you? Yeah. Social distancing doesn't apply to turkeys, right? I hope so.
No.
So, one of the most common things that we hear on our tours when we're visiting with our chicken friends is that, chickens are incredibly stupid. They're just really, really dumb animals, and there's not a lot going on in their brains, right? And in fact, this is something that I believed until I started working here and started getting to know all of our chicken friends. And I think it's something that's really, really heavily reinforced for all of us as we grow up and live our adult lives. This idea that birds are not very intelligent, or specifically chickens and turkeys and all of these sort of farm birds aren't intelligent. And so we've heard stories from my chickens. I had a bunch of chickens, and they were so stupid they all got eaten by predators, which is usually not a sign that they're unintelligent, but that they're captive to us and not given enough protection from predators in the area. And they're also domesticated and unable to fly the way that some of their wild counterparts would have been. I had an aunt who told me about her chickens, and they were so stupid, they stared up into the rain until they drowned. The whole flock of them stared up into the rain until they drowned, which sounds a little far-fetched, a little silly, because we've known, how many chickens have we known here, Lauren? Hundreds, personally.
Thousands?
But thousands is a sanctuary at this point. And none of them have drowned staring into the rain. None of them particularly enjoy staring up into the rain as it is. They will run around outside in the rain. They don't mind being wet, but lots of us don't mind being wet. I like to splash around in the rain. I still want to be free. Our horses stand out in the rain. Our cows stand out in the rain. Our goats do not stand out in the rain, but our sheep do. The goats will pretend that it's raining acid and they need to get under cover. But all of these guys, they don't drown looking up into the rain. And while we can't we can't speak specifically to this one flock of chickens that somebody's aunt supposedly had. We were not there. You know, I would certainly have our doubts as to whether or not this was something that happened, because we're slowly learning over time. We are learning. Oh my goodness! Do we want to capture the adorableness that is Sanchez preening Lyle? Except now that they've parted ways. Where are you going, Lyle? Do you want to come cuddle? We are going to talk bird intelligence in a second. What do you think? Butt scratches, Lyle? No? So, what we're going to talk about today are some of the ways that we've learned that chickens are actually way smarter than they're given credit for in our sort of social and cultural environment. They're way smarter than I ever thought they were. Before I read a little bit more about them and got to know them as individuals. Oh my gosh, she's doing it again. She's doing. Oh, every time I point out Sanchez being cute to Lyle, you know.
Let's see what she's doing.
Not his best angle though.
No, that's not a good angle. Guess what?
Lyle's a mess.
Oh no, guess what?
Chicken butt.
Chicken butt.
Okay, there we go. But while I do have some things in mind that I want to chat to or tell you a little bit about in terms of some of the skills that chickens have, I want to give a little description of the way that chickens would typically live out their lives. So they're descended from a bird called the red jungle fowl. Hi, angels. Oh. Wow. We've still just got Imogen here, being a perfect little turkey. We can pretend she's a chicken, right? You're just a very big chicken.
Large, different looking
Just a
chicken.
very, very big chicken. Yes, we're going to scoop some of your chicken friends in a minute, because they're supposed to be the stars of this show. And you are not supposed to be the star of the show. But you are perfect in every single way. And so you can stay here with us. Yeah, she's just perfect.
She's got a little something stuck to her face.
It's a snack for later.
But then you took it away from her, though.
I'll give her a better snack later. We'll find some clover. So chickens are descended from red jungle fowl. They would live in tropical forests, tropical environments that are rich and diverse. And they would live in family groups that have quite a number of individuals. And their groups would have a little bit of a hierarchy to them, or a good bit of a hierarchy to them. So they've got sort of a social rank that they're all living in. And I'm hoping that some of you will guess in the comments, so leave in the comments some ideas that you have about the kinds of intelligences you might need to have if you're a chicken who lives in a group of individuals, unique individuals, in a diverse and complex environment. What are some of the things that you might need to be able to figure out and do in order to survive and thrive in that kind of environment? And while you leave some of your guesses in the comments, I'm hoping somebody will participate with this. We're going to chat a little bit just about our new sunshade in here, and chat a little bit about our Colorado babies in general. So it's been a hot day. It's been a hot summer, a hot year for us here at Catskill Animal Sanctuary and across the globe. And our chickens are not the world's biggest fans of the heat, especially Cornish cross chickens like our Colorado babies are, and our broad-breasted white turkeys like Imogen and her friend Malika, who's off-screen and probably doesn't want to be on-screen because she's a grumpy pants. That sound does indicate to me that she just did a little mildly angry turkey chat, so she's probably happy to not be paid a little extra attention to. Ooh, that's a good spot. That's a good spot. These guys grow so big so quickly that there's a lot of pressure on their bodies, and their bodies have a hard time just keeping up, with a daily life. And cooling can become a particular challenge for them in hot weather. Their circulation isn't the best. Their cooling mechanisms are not the best. And so we want to make sure that they have plenty of shade during the hot summer, so they can hang out under here, get some shade, and avoid the heat of the sun without having to be cooped up inside in their coop. Ladies, my goodness, we are still worked up from lunchtime. We've got a lot of shouting going on at the moment. But we also have for them a couple of other things in here that help them to cool off in the summer. So we've got a fun little kiddie pool here. Yeah, I know. I'm ruining your fun time. And
Are you gonna climb in that one too today?
I'm not gonna climb in it. It looks like there's been a few. Chickens swimming around in it already this afternoon. So they get it changed out at least once a day, but sometimes a couple times a day. But they also have a bunch of chickens and turkeys in here, and they've enjoyed it. So I'm gonna let them enjoy that water on their own. And then we've also got in here a little dust bathing spot. So they've got a big field of grass where they can hang out and sunbathe and roll around and enjoy themselves. But dust bathing can also help keep them nice and cool, because the dirt can stay a bit cooler, especially because we've got it under a shady awning here. And so they can dust bathe, they can water bathe, or really just stand in the water if they want and cool their feet off. Or we'll pop them in the water to cool their feet off, which helps cool off their whole bodies. But we've got a whole hi angel face. Are you following me? Do you want to be on camera that much, or do you just want belly rubs that much? Yeah, we love you, Imogen. Star of the show, through and through. Perfect turkey. You're a perfect turkey. We've got a whole summer set up for all of these guys to make sure that they stay nice and comfortable. And of course, if a heat wave hits, then we'll go to even greater extremes to make sure that everybody is staying nice and cool. Because these guys are our friends. It's our job to make sure that they're comfortable year-round. We're not here just to, provide them a refuge from being killed. We're here to provide them a nice, good life. And have we had any guesses about what kinds of intelligences chickens might need?
Yes, so we have Janine, who is wondering about being able to, detect danger, like predators.
Mm-hmm.
And Veronica is wondering about cooperation.
Yes. Yes, they definitely need to detect danger. I would say that most animals have some degree of danger, detection skills, and cooperation.
Children.
What was that we were saying about cooperation?
Ruby.
Oh, goodness. We are worked up this afternoon. Yes, cooperation would be an important one. We don't have too many studies out there that look specifically at chicken cooperation, but I will say that we see in chickens, they've got quite the vocalization range, and they can say quite a bit with their different sounds that they'll make. And roosters will make, usually roosters are the ones who are looking out specifically for the predators, although hens will also make their danger calls. Roosters will do specific sounds for predators that are in the sky versus predators that are on the ground, because that's going to tell the other members of their flock where they need to go to stay nice and safe from predators. And so, do they need to climb up in a tree because there's a predator on the ground, or get higher up, or do they need to go under something to stay safe from an avian predator? And so that level of, alerting your flock to what's going on would kind of indicate a level of cooperation, wanting to protect everyone in your group. Yes.
And then actually on that same sort of topic, Janine also asked, what about communicating about food sources?
Oh, yes. They absolutely do communicate about food sources. Actually, them talking about food is going to play a little bit into some of the other ways that we know, or other things that we've learned about chicken intelligence. Because food as a motivator, oh my goodness, I've got a turkey falling asleep in my chest. I'm sorry. Food as a motivator is something that's been often used when animals are being studied. Can we all get along? Sal, be polite. So,
Is it Sal who's causing all the problems?
no, we're
No, it's
collectively causing problems at the
Collective
moment.
problem solve. We're not problem solvers right now. We're problem causers.
We're all problem causers at the moment, yes, except for Ellery. I'm not Ellery, oh my gosh, except for Imogen. I know who you are.
Ellery is way over, there. There she is. Hanging out in her little private getaway.
Look at this nonsense. This is perfect.
I know, it's very
It's a perfect
cute.
bird. I guess we're going to have to talk about turkey intelligence another time. So I'm going to come up here and leave her be, and let's scoop up. Samira, you're a good cuddler. Oh. Can we see her? Yes?
There we go.
Okay. So, hi, Angel. So in talking about food, yes, roosters will indicate when they found food, and mama hens will indicate when they found food as well. And then in flocks where you don't really have a rooster, we'll see some of the hens talking more about finding food because they want to share it, and they can use it to kind of work their way up a social hierarchy. So that is definitely something that's very, very important to them. And interestingly enough, little baby chickens will wait to watch their moms eat foods that are unfamiliar to them before they'll try it themselves. So they'll discriminate between different types of foods, which is really, really important for animals like chickens, like humans, who are omnivorous and would be eating a wide array of different things in their environment. We need to be able to learn what is safe. So a chicken doesn't inherently know what is good to eat versus what is not good to eat. It's something that they're taught, just like humans. Because I have an unfortunate story of trying out battery acid as a kid. Because I didn't know what was good to eat versus what wasn't good to eat. Lauren is kind of crying in the background there. My parents didn't think they needed to teach me. But evidently, sometimes we overlook a few things. But what is safe is learned, is the moral of that story.
And you're fine.
And I am fine. I didn't even have a hole burned through my tongue like I thought was going to happen.
That's good.
It's great. So they do need to be able to figure out, Imogen, you perfect bird. This is a conversation about chickens while hanging out with turkeys. So yes, discrimination among food is actually really, really important for them. And a couple of things will actually tie into that. And did we have any other guesses before I launch into some of the big chicken intelligence areas? Woo.
Well, Kenneth had also pointed out how much they love to perch. So, they had a coop that was built, but the chickens were like, nah, I like to be up in the trees.
So you definitely have, especially in some breeds of chickens, the larger ones tend to perch a little bit more. A little bit less because of the limitations due to their size. But they definitely still do have a bit of an instinct to get off the ground away from predators. They would historically have been perching birds at night. And so that's actually one of the reasons that we're very concerned about domesticated chickens who aren't able to fly as well as their wild ancestors and their smaller breeds of chicken friends. So a lot of the chickens who we see dumped around in the Hudson Valley and in other, suburban, semi-rural areas, they're larger breeds of birds because of how we've changed them over time and who's most popular as a backyard chicken. If they get dumped and abandoned, then they will often still try to perch at night, but they can't get up nearly as high. And so they'll be fairly low to the ground just because of their physical limitations. And it makes them really vulnerable to the kinds of predators that are in the area. So they do have a bit of an instinct to perch, although I'm not sure if that would count as like a intelligence area or just I'm not sure if it would be distinguished as like a form of intelligence. And anything else I should address before we go? All right, so some of the really cool things that chickens are able to do, and then this is going to be important for living in a really social group. First of all, if you live in a big group of people, you need to be able to tell who's who. So chickens have individual discrimination. And not discrimination in a bad and prejudiced way, the way that we often hear discrimination these days, but just the ability to tell who is who. For Lyle here, now he's not up in the view, for Samira to be able to tell the difference between Delaney and Lyle and Sanchez. These guys will look at each other and know who in their group is who. We know that chickens can do this through the physical features of the other chickens. So they can look at each other's faces and each other's feathers. Sanchez, what happened? Yes. And they can say, oh, that's Lyle's feather pattern. That's Winter's feather pattern. That's Ruby's feather pattern. And we don't know yet. Be polite, Samira! Be polite! We don't know yet whether chickens can tell each other apart in terms of their voices as well, or their smells. There are other animals that can do that. But chickens are very, very visually oriented animals, and they definitely pay close attention to the details of each other's features. So you can show a chicken, I don't know if we can do it with you, Samira, because we haven't tried this before. You can show a chicken photos of chickens who they know and chickens who they don't know, and they can tell the difference. Yes.
You can't see this right now, but I just want to make sure that the people see this. Behind Kaden, do you see Imogen's head just poking out on different sides of Kaden's shoulders? Here she comes around again. She was on one side of you, and then the other side, and now she's come back on this side. I just wanted to make sure that we saw that, because she's just been like, why, I am upset when it is not about me.
Yeah, Imogen's needy, and I love that about her. Samira, you're pretty great. You're not needy, but you're cuddly. Yeah. So they can tell the difference between each other visually. They know who is who, and they also need to be able to keep track within their flock of who is on top of the hierarchy and who's a little bit lower down. And so I'm gonna before I launch into this, I'm gonna ask you to think about middle school, and think about. Lauren is just grimacing because nobody really likes to think about middle school. It's a rough time, and that's precisely why I'm having you think about it. So there, you're kind of acutely aware of everybody's cliques in middle school. You know who's, the cool kids. You know who's kind of being outcast, and you're trying to just figure out where you fit in there. And you want to make sure that you're not messing with the wrong crowds. So if you're watching and you realize, I'm getting treated a little bit better than this group over here, which is not great. But I've just watched this kid be really mean to another kid who I think is probably higher up on our social hierarchy in middle school than I am. I'm going to try and stay out of the way of this bully because I have learned by watching them be mean to another kid that that's not someone who I want to mess with because it's not someone who I'm likely to win against or want to take on. That is an important skill for animals who are in a social hierarchy. And whether we like it or not, humans do have a tendency to form some hierarchies against our better nature, right? Come on, Cyrus, join the fun. So chickens need to be able to kind of sort out that pattern. Hi, Angel Face. Did I stop petting you and you're upset about it? Yeah. We are upset that Imogen is not getting 100% of the attention 100% of the time, but I think Samira deserves some too, as well as our wonderful virtual visitors. What do you think?
Imogen, I will give you a hug. Why don't you come over to me?
So chickens have transitive, inferences that they can make. And what that means is that a chicken can see object A. So they could say, let's do some examples here. Okay. So a chicken can say, this walkie-talkie is bigger than this watch. And then they can also say that I don't have something bigger than that. Let's pretend. Okay. Then they can also say, this piece of paper is bigger than this walkie-talkie. Now, they don't ever have to see this piece of paper and this watch together. If they know that this walkie-talkie is bigger than this watch, then they know that this paper is therefore bigger than the watch because they know it's bigger than the walkie-talkie. And that is actually a really complicated cognitive skill that chickens have. And they need to be able to do that because they need to be able to watch who's interacting with who. And they can say, Lyle needs to be... Why is nobody around? So Cyrus needs to be able to say, I saw Sal picking on Delaney. And I could take Delaney in a fight, so I might want to be able to take Sal in a fight. I can try it out, see where I stand. Or Cyrus might say, I already lost. Delaney is clearly higher up on the hierarchy than me, and I can see Sal hanging out with Delaney, and Sal is clearly higher up on the hierarchy than Delaney. So I'm not even going to try to mess with Sal, because I already know I'm lower down on this hierarchy than Sal. So they need to be able to figure that out without picking fights that they're just automatically going to lose. Hi, Bubs. Oh, now we got friends. What do we think?
Might have cheated a little bit and brought them snacks.
What is that about food motivation?
Food motivation.
Especially our friends who are on pretty strict diets here. Because they just would otherwise grow so large so quickly because of how they've been bred. I mean, these guys were never expected or never intended to live past their 6-week-old mark as babies. What do we think? Oh, we ate a lot of the snacks. Oh, be polite.
They go very quickly.
You can share. Sharing is caring. Malika's mad about something in the background. So chickens have this ability to kind of figure out their hierarchies because of this complex thing where they can deduce or infer. You are not a chicken. Do we have any other comments that I should be? Questions so far?
Well, you brought up middle school for a couple people, and Colleen was not too thrilled about that. Hi, Colleen.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, middle school's a rough time. Chickens also, remember, they are foraging animals. So they would be trying to find all sorts of diverse food and goodies in their environment. And they're really, really visual animals. And I know we're running out of time here because I have rambled. I'm so sorry. But they have to be able to spot those kinds of foods that they've learned, that they've been taught by their moms, out in the environment. So they have object permanence and episodic memory. That's what scientists have figured out. So they can look back in their minds and remember something that happened. They can remember what food turned out well, was good, felt good, nourished them, and they remember what it looks like, maybe where they found it. And they can also look back and say, like, I tried this, it made me not feel so well, I'm not going to do that again. But they can find objects that are partially hidden from view. So even young kids, like babies, and I think it's like up until age 2, we don't have object permanence as humans. So it takes us a little while to develop it. It would be like when you hide your face and then play peekaboo. That's really playing with object permanence with babies. So they're surprised that you've popped out, you know? So if I were to hide my walkie-talkie behind Imogen and now you can't see it, you still know it's there, even though you can't see my walkie-talkie. You're not surprised when I pull it back out. Neither would a chicken be. Oh, Lauren is surprised. Lauren is in her 30s, has not yet developed object permanence, but she's compensating beautifully. I'm sorry, you couldn't even see her just pretending to be surprised behind the camera. But chickens can do this because they need to be able to discover food. And that means that they've got these really good spatial memories as well going on. For example, Sidra, one of our little hens here, used to love before she was implanted and stopped from laying eggs, which has been great for her health and her softness of feathers. She used to love to try and lay her eggs in an open shavings bag in our barn kitchen. And in that bag, she could see it through an open door. Like we had a partially open door, one of those split doors. So the bottom would be closed and the top would be open. And Sidra could hop over, see her shavings bag, go in and lay it. But she was really bossy, really rude, a little aggressive with some of the other chickens in there because she was cranky. Her hormones were all ramped up when she was trying to lay an egg, and it hurt. She was clearly kind of crampy at that time. So we said, no, Sidra, you can't come in here and lay your egg because you wreak havoc on our little social ecosystem in the barn kitchen. We're going to close this door and prevent you from going in. Sidra was not having it. So at first she was just huffing and puffing outside of the door, pacing, trying to sneak in when somebody would open up all the way to walk out. But she was clearly losing that fight. And so then she put on her thinking cap and she was like, wait a minute. I know for sure that shavings bag is still in there, even though I can't see it. I also know for sure that there is a back door to the barn kitchen that the humans haven't thought of. So I'm just gonna calm myself down, take a breather, problem solve this, go around the barn, out back, and I'm gonna hop through the partially open door in the back, and I'm gonna get into that shavings bag that I know is still there. So this is pretty spatially distant that she had to be able to walk all the way around a big barn and into the other back door that she knew would be most likely open to get to a bag that she could no longer see, but she knew she wanted to lay her egg there. And so that's a sign of object permanence in chickens, which is considered to be an important mental trait. Do we have any other questions so far?
Well, people are just really entertained by Sidra.
She's great.
She is great. And yeah, by the way, I see Lisa is here. Happy birthday, Lisa.
Oh, happy birthday, Lisa.
Lisa's my sister-in-law. Happy birthday, Lisa. Anyway, I saw her name there and I just wanted to say happy birthday.
Nice. We also have chickens' ability. I'm just going to list a few more. And then we're going to wrap up. Because we got to wrap up. But chickens are able to count. So they can tell, they automatically have sort of ordinal abilities. They know what is a larger quantity than a smaller quantity. And they can do some simple addition and subtraction tasks because of that. And it's often around food. And they've learned that that ability to discern quantities has helped them to practice delayed gratification, something that many human children are also not able to do. I would say some of our human adults are also not so great at delayed gratification. We all have our moments. But, so if they know, I pet this button right now, I get a little bit of food. Or if I wait and I pet this button in 22 seconds or a little while longer, then I'm going to get more food. They'll almost always choose to wait that extra time for a greater quantity of a reward. And they will lie about finding food sometimes. It's kind of bad. I don't recommend this behavior. And I've often talked about my lying behavior with Sidra and how she learned to not tell, to tell that I was lying. But roosters who are kind of lower down on the hierarchy and know that if they talk about finding food, they might be able to get some hens to come over, who they can try and woo. They will lie about finding food. It's a form of deception. The thing is, though, if somebody deceives you, you have to be able to tell that there are liars amongst you, and they will also pick out the liars and stop listening to them. So chickens have some incredible thinking skills that we usually don't attribute to them. But scientists have been able to test these, not always in ways that we would want them to be testing on animals, especially... But, we know now that we've really underestimated birds. And sure, the baby chickens who we see 50,000 to a barn on farms, they don't display a lot of intelligence because they don't have a rich environment to learn in. They don't have the space to express it. And they are 6 weeks old by the time that they're killed. So they never have that chance to grow. But that doesn't mean that chickens themselves are stupid. We know from watching and studying humans and so many other species that we need a good environment, a natural or semi-natural environment to express all of our skills, to grow and develop as individuals. Chickens, turkeys, cows, pigs, they need the same. And we're thankfully able to provide that for them here at Sanctuary. We love you. We're able to provide that for them here at Sanctuary in a way that they deserve. And we're so grateful to everybody who supports the work that we do in providing that for them. And we hope, and that's what we're here for, we can create a world where all of these guys can be respected as the intelligent individuals who they are, where we can kind of break down some of the biases in our minds about chickens and other animals being stupid that allow us to feel more comfortable with eating them, and instead kind of start breaking down the idea that we need to be eating them at all. We can live a healthy, happy life eating just plants. It's a beautiful life. I have not yet dropped over from protein deficiency. Still going strong. And we're so grateful for all of you who are joining us in this journey of creating a kinder world for all of our friends here at Catskill Animal Sanctuary. If you want to tune in again, I know I've gone way over our allotted time together. If you want to tune in again, Lauren will be doing our live stream this Thursday at 1 o'clock here on Facebook, and we also send out a little email about when we're going live to our audiences. If you subscribe to our newsletter, Heard Around the Barn, on our website, casanctuary.org, and we also have some private virtual tours. If you want to hear us blather on about all of our friends here at the Sanctuary and have a chance to ask one-on-one questions, check out our CAS Live page on our website to book a private tour for your family, your yoga class, your church group, your Girl Scout, Boy Scout troop. You name it, your birthday party. We're happy to bring a tour to you. So check us out, CAS Live. And thank you so much for joining in today. Lauren has a few things to add, I believe.
Well, Kaden, you told me I could tell my favorite joke.
I did say that Lauren could tell her favorite joke. So wait, hold on. Before Lauren tells her favorite joke,
because everyone's going to want to
ruin it. If you want to support us before you hear the joke, you can text CAS to 91999. I'm sorry. Lauren, it's great. What is your joke?
My joke? Okay, so you know the joke, why did the chicken cross the road?
Why did the chicken cross the road?
To get to the other side.
I mean, I don't like that.
No, the better one. Why did the tofu cross the road? I don't know if we want to wait for the lag to go.
To prove it was just as good as the chicken.
Hey!
What's your follow-up apology to that?
I have no apology to that. It's just a foul joke.
Alright. And on that note, thank you so much for joining us all today. I hope you have a beautiful day, beautiful lunch hour, eat some plants, take care of yourselves, stay safe and healthy, tune back in on Thursday. We're so grateful for all of you. We love you. Thank you. Bye. Ooh, I'm so sorry. I bumped into your arm, or your neck. My arm bumped into your neck.